The dawn fog poured over Telegraph Hill like steamed milk, pooling in the streets around Mei Ling's little dim sum cart. Every weekday, she wheeled rolling good fortune from her apartment on Powell down to Washington Square, where office workers, dog walkers, and bleary students lined up for shrimp hargao, pork siu mai, and her trademark chrysanthemum custard buns. The cart was the size of a piano, lacquered red, with a brass bell that ting-a-linged whenever new dumplings came out of the bamboo baskets. On its roof sat a glass jar filled with May's homemade fortune cookies. May wrote every slip of paper by hand. As a kid, she'd copied Wuxia proverbs from her grandmother's storybooks. Later, she experimented with bad puns. Your bun in a million, before settling on gentle encouragements. Her customers claimed they tasted better than any bakeries, delicate and buttery, rather than brittle and sweetened sawdust. The secret, she said, was a single drop of orange blossom water in the batter. That particular Thursday, she finished scrawling fortunes. A kind word will find its echo, and tucked the last cookie on top. 10 minutes later, the breakfast rush began. A lanky tourist in a Stanford hoodie paid for 2 shumai, grabbed a cookie, cracked it open, and chuckled. "What's it say?" May asked, pouring soy sauce into a tiny pink container. "Beware the man with the silver watch in the alley at dusk," he read aloud, amused. "Sounds spooky." "Definitely not one of mine," May murmured. She brushed flour off her apron and peered into the jar. Had she missed a slip from yesterday? No, she distinctly remembered writing about kindness, not alleyway warnings. Still, she shrugged, served the next customer, and forgot about it until 6 o'clock. Just after dusk, Detective Alex Ortiz of the SFPD happened to stroll by, rolling good fortune, craving a custard bun. May recognized him from the neighborhood watch meetings, trim beard, crow's feet, and a patient voice that could calm irate pigeons. Tonight his expression was grim. "Evening, May. You didn't see anything strange around Kearney Street an hour ago, did you?" "No. Why?" "A mugging. Tourist from Palo Alto. Guy with a silver Rolex cornered her in the alley behind Old St. Mary's and stole her camera." Alex rubbed the bridge of his nose. "Witnesses say it was quick. She's fine, just shaken." May's mouth went cotton dry. Alley, dusk, silver watch. She opened her palm to show the detective the odd fortune. "One of my cookies predicted it this morning." Alex raised an eyebrow. "You wrote that?" "I swear I didn't." He studied the crisp shell, its vanilla scent still faint. "Probably coincidence," he said, but he slipped the paper into an evidence envelope anyway, before walking off toward his cruiser. May went home unsettled. Still, the next morning promised another day of dough and steam. She told herself not to be dramatic, made a fresh batch of batter, and crafted fortunes about courage and creativity. While the cookies cooled, she let her mind drift toward the upcoming North Beach Food Festival. The city's Office of Small Business was holding a contest, and the prize was a permanent kiosk by the ferry building. Winning would let her retire the squeaky wheels of rolling good fortune. By 9, she was back at Washington Square. A cluster of tech workers biked up, hungry after their dawn Peloton session. One woman, neon leggings, sleek ponytail, bit into a cookie and read, "An empty frame hides a silent scream." May nearly dropped her tongs. "Is it a reference to Edvard Munch?" the woman asked, amused. "Perhaps," May replied weakly. At 11:15 a patrol car shrieked past on Stockton, siren splitting the fog. Alex Ortiz called her 20 minutes later. "Someone cut a painting right out of its frame at the De Young," he said. Security guard thinks it happened during a school tour at 10:30. No cameras in that gallery. You wouldn't happen to have another cookie? May told him yes, and her voice shook. Detective, somebody's messing with me. Either that or you're psychic, he joked lightly. Then, serious. Mind if I swing by tonight? I want to look at your kitchen. She spent the afternoon in paranoid hyperfocus, checking under bamboo steamers, behind the propane tank, even in the soy sauce crate. Nothing unusual. When the lunch rush ebbed, she called her best friend Vivian Chen, investigative podcaster and queen of city gossip. Creepy fortunes, Vivian squealed. I smell content. Let me record you. No recording, just ideas. Vivian arrived at May's apartment with noise-cancelling headphones draped around her neck and 3 different chargers in her backpack. They inspected May's tiny galley kitchen. The fortune cookie batter bowl sat in the sink with a film of hardened sugar. The slips of blank paper, May bought them pre-cut from an art store, were in a mason jar by the stove. Anything missing? Vivian asked. Not that I can tell. Alex knocked at 7. He wore jeans instead of uniform slacks, but the badge clip still winked at his belt. While he dusted the cookie jar for fingerprints, Vivian peppered him with questions about modus operandi and crime statistics. May paced between them like a ping-pong ball. Could someone have slipped in while I was serving customers? She wondered aloud. Maybe, Alex said, but that person would need opportunity and predictive knowledge of a crime that hadn't happened yet. Vivian snapped her fingers. Unless the fortune writer is the criminal, staging the events to match the notes. May's breath caught. Are you suggesting I mugged a tourist and stole a painting? No, not you, Vivian said quickly, but maybe someone close to the cart. Alex tucked his notebook away. I'm keeping the fortunes as evidence. May, if you get another one that feels off, call me immediately. She agreed, though sleep was a stranger that night. Every creak in the hallway sounded like a burglar with a label maker, stuffing ominous prophecies into cellophane treats. Saturday dawned bright and clear, the fog taking a rare holiday. May arrived early to prep for the farmers' market surge. She cracked eggs, sifted flour, and wrote fortunes about sunshine. Nai, her grandmother, dropped by with a jar of pickled mustard greens and a hug that smelled like tiger balm and tangerines. Your eyes have storms, Nai said in Mandarin. Tell me. May relayed the strange happenings. The old woman nodded once, gravely. Ghosts love riddles, but humans create bigger mischief. She pressed a knotted hand over May's. Be careful which mouths you feed. A shiver chased May all the way to the Embarcadero. She unfolded the cart's awning just as ferries began unloading yawning tourists. Business boomed. The empty cookie jar needed refilling by 10:30, so she scooped fresh ones in. At 11:04 she saw a retired bus driver named Mr. Alvarez open his cookie. The slip fluttered to the pavement. He bent with a grunt, picked it up, squinted and frowned. Something wrong? May asked. Must be a joke, he said, handing it to her. She read, White petals fall in red water at 3. Every nerve tightened. She checked her watch. 11:05 a.m., less than 4 hours until 3. She dialed Alex. I'm on patrol, he said. What's it say this time? She read it to him. Could mean anything. Location? No clue. He exhaled. If anything suspicious happens near bodies of water, I'll know who to call. After hanging up, May noticed a suited man lingering near the cart's corner. He wore designer sunglasses and a Bluetooth earpiece, and kept pretending to read the chalkboard menu while scanning the jar. Can I help you? She asked. He smiled, nothing warm in it. Just admiring how rapidly you sell out. Impressive for a little street operation." His tone dripped condescension. Then he reached into his pocket, produced a silver business card, and slid it across the counter. "Trevor Harding, VP of Venture Integration, Chow Now Tech. We're launching autonomous dim sum kiosks. Investors love local flair. You might be acquisition material." "I like my wheels," Mei said, flicking the card back. Trevor's grin stiffened. He departed to join his waiting Tesla, but not before glancing longingly at the fortune cookies. "The nerve!" Vivian huffed, having witnessed the exchange from a bench while editing her latest episode. "Robots stealing Grandma's dumplings over my dead AirPods." Mei tried to laugh, but the ominous fortune pulsed in her mind. White petals, red water, 3 o'clock. At 2:45 she began packing up early, worry shredding her thoughts. She wheeled the cart toward her storage garage on Vallejo. Halfway, she spotted squad cars barreling toward Fisherman's Wharf. Sirens, a helicopter's thwump overhead. Her skin prickled. She phoned Alex. "Tell me what happened." "Possible homicide in the Japanese tea garden pond," he said. "Tourist found a body. Female, late 30s. White cherry blossoms floating on the surface. Red water, white petals." May's knees buckled, forcing her onto a bench. "The fortune was right," she whispered. "Where are you now?" Alex asked, voice tight with concern. "North Beach." "I'll send a unit to escort you home." That night, the detective returned with grim news. The victim, a whistleblowing accountant at Chow Now Tech, apparently died from blunt force trauma. Police were questioning company executives, including Trevor Harding. May's mind raced. Treacherous VP hungry for autonomous dim sum kiosks, cookies predicting crimes. An accountant silenced. A pattern trembled into focus, like the crease on a dumpling wrapper revealing its filling. But how were the fortunes generated? She locked her apartment door, brewed jasmine tea, and examined every step of her baking ritual. She typed the fortunes on her grandmother's old typewriter, but because ribbons were pricey, she'd recently trialed a new gadget, the Fortuna mini printer, a crowd-funded device that connected via Bluetooth to her phone. It churned out neatly trimmed slips with customizable fonts. Trevor Harding had given a demo at the Small Business Association last month. May had bought one at booth discount. She'd assumed it was mechanical magic. In reality, it had asked for location permissions when she paired it with her phone. She retrieved the printer from the utensil drawer. A green LED glowed even though she'd unplugged it. She stared at the tiny logo, Chow Now Tech. Her pulse thudded. She phoned Vivian. "Get over here," she hissed. "Bring your hacker friend. Yes, the one who lives on yerba mate." 20 minutes later, Vivian arrived with Lucas, a freckled coder wearing a hoodie that proclaimed, "I void warranties." He unscrewed the printer casing using a guitar pick, eyes shining. "There's a micro SIM in here," he said. "It transmits data, probably downloading something from a server. Give me 10 minutes. Fingers flew across his laptop. May steadied herself with tea, mind ricocheting. Had Chow Now used the gadget to spy on her? But why feed her fortunes about crimes? Lucas whistled. "Holy metadata. This thing pulls scraped social media posts, 911 dispatch logs, and predictive policing datasets, then generates short text summaries. Basically, it forecasts high-probability incidents in your vicinity." May gaped. "You mean it predicted the crimes?" Vivian shook her head. "Or someone fed it planned crimes, ensuring they'd come true." Lucas added, "The printer's default channel is system, autonomous, but there's an admin override. Whoever has the credentials can push custom messages. Trevor Harding. The name flickered like faulty neon. He'd had motive to silence an accountant, and now May's fortunes were unwitting alibis, randomly distributed warnings suggesting he couldn't possibly orchestrate events foretold by chance. Unless someone noticed the pattern, the fortunes made crimes look like fate. Proof, May said. We need it. Already cloning the SIM, Lucas replied. We'll track outgoing IP addresses. Meanwhile, May drafted a plan. The food festival finals were Sunday afternoon in Golden Gate Park. Vendors would vie in front of media crews, and Chow Now Tech was sponsoring the event. Trevor would be present. May would lure him. She spent the night rolling dough. At dawn, she loaded the cart with extra fortune cookies. But these were special. Inside each, she tucked blank slips. The real fortunes she printed separately and stashed in her apron. Vivian arranged for her podcast assistant to stream video of Rolling Good Fortune's stall. Lucas sat in a nearby lawn chair with a directional antenna disguised as a beach umbrella. At 1 p.m, Trevor Harding strolled into the park, flanked by 2 PR reps. He spotted May, forced a smile. Decided to sell after all? He asked. Depends, she said lightly, passing him a cookie. Try this prototype. He cracked it, curious. No paper. He frowned. Must be a dud, she said. Here, have another. Again, no fortune. Glitchy printer, May apologized. Let me check. She opened the jar, removed a hidden envelope, and pulled out a fortune pre-printed on bright scarlet paper. She read it aloud, voice clear over the sizzle of food trucks and the hum of cameras. At precisely 2:15, a thief in a navy suit will be arrested for murder. Conversations around them hushed. Trevor laughed nervously. Bit dramatic. Lucas looked at his laptop. Ping received, he muttered. Alex Ortiz, who'd been loitering at an empanada stand, strolled over. Funny you mention arrest, May. He produced handcuffs. Mr. Harding, you're under arrest for the murder of Evelyn Park. Trevor's jaw dropped. What evidence? Alex nodded to Lucas, who displayed the cloned data stream. Your admin login injected custom fortunes 4 minutes before each crime, using the name T-Hard1, same password you used to expense a $400 steak last week. Reporters swarmed like gulls. Trevor tried to bolt but tripped over a cable. Officers pinned him easily. As he was led away, Trevor glared at May. You ruined everything. Could have been rich. I already am, she said, thinking of community, steam, and the orange blossom scent that greeted sunrise. Later at the station, May gave an official statement. Trevor had exploited his company's predictive software, originally designed for supply chain analysis. When Evelyn Park, the accountant, uncovered misappropriated R&D funds, he silenced her. To divert suspicion, he used May's printer to seed random fortunes, giving crimes an aura of destiny. He had slipped the printer into admin override during a product test session with her weeks earlier. Alex drove her home across the Golden Gate, windows down, so the salt air could sluice away the day's darkness. You cracked the case, he said. Couldn't have without Vivian and Lucas. Still, free dumplings for detectives? Lifetime supply. Sunday's sunset painted the bay peach and lavender. Back in her apartment, May replaced the printer with Nine Eye's ancient typewriter and loaded a fresh ribbon. She rolled paper through and typed carefully. Good fortune is not foretold, it is handmade. The following morning, she placed those words inside every fortune cookie. By noon, Rolling Good Fortune's line stretched past the park benches. Some customers asked about the notorious fortunes, half hoping their cookies would hint at lottery numbers or lost loves. May just smiled, handed over hot buns, and let the bell sing its bright, ordinary chime. The mysteries were solved, and life, like dumpling dough, was resilient, folded, pinched, and steamed into something sweet.